Question of the day, Darnell, take it away.
Yes, sir. Let's move to Antonio Brown, who keeps creating more drama. After being released Friday, Brown had a lot of people wondering if he was going to retire, tweeting out, quote, "Will not be playing in the NFL anymore. These owners can cancel deals, do whatever they want at any time. We will see if the NFLPA will hold them accountable. Sad they can just void guarantees any time. Going on $40 million in 2 months. We'll see if they pay up." I want to ask you guys, do you think Brown should play again this year?
Allegedly, there's several teams interested in him, and I think that after the NFL has their investigation, I think sometime around Thanksgiving, there's going to be some teams that'll make a play for AB. I think it would be best for him as a human being if he didn't play this year, come back next year with a clean slate, hopefully a new attitude. I would like to see him focus on AB the rest of this year.
I hear you. It certainly smells like something's going on between the ears that needs to get corrected, to get fixed, to get aired out and addressed. But then I take a deep breath and say, what has AB really done? All this smoke, and then you get there and it's just one little match. Think about it. 2 accusations that you're innocent of until you're proven guilty. You cursed out your GM in the same sports culture where I've seen guys knock out their teammates and to return back to play that same week. Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Steve Smith Sr., I could keep going. So then I look at, oh, you cursed out your GM, all right, whatever. The point of this is, who am I to tell this dude that he doesn't need the game of football or the structure and the joy it provides him? Because we don't live in a parallel universe to understand what AB looks like without football. It's a lot of guesswork, but we don't know what he's going to turn into without football, so I don't feel like I'm qualified for that position.
I just think I agree with Whit. I think Tonio should take some time off, get away from the game of football, get away from what he's dealing with. You know, that's not going to go away. It's a personal issue, but, you know, life's going to continue to go on. Yeah. And he has to make some changes. Obviously, there has to be some form of mentorship for him. And that's what I want to see out of Antonio. I want to see him sit this year out, gather himself, figure out what transpired, look back and say, okay, I could have done this better. I could do this better. You know, I shouldn't have done this. I need to apologize to this person, and this person. And then try to land on my feet next year. I think that's the best case scenario for him. He's not going to be in his right mind. Team's got to be able to trust him. The teammates got to be able to trust you. It's different when you go in that locker room. You just can't bounce around, you know, from team to team and think that your respect level is going to be there because everybody's reading and looking at what's going on.
One of the things I thought about this weekend, Mike, that I'm glad you're here, I can ask about, because, again, I tweeted out this weekend that I think there needs to be a spiritual awakening and understanding for Antonio. He talks about calling God and having a relationship with God. His behavior doesn't match up. He's mistreating people consistently. And I wonder if perhaps a relationship with Tony Dungy could be a benefit to Antonio Brown.
That would be amazing. A relationship with Tony Dungy would change his life dramatically. A relationship with me, and I'm speaking to Antonio directly, would be so much better than probably what you got in relationships that you have with other people. Not discrediting anybody, but I'm a qualified guy to say, look, I've learned from my mistakes. I've learned through other people, and they've helped me, and I can help him.
You know, it's interesting, when they talk about therapy and what really needs to be unveiled, people don't need to be fixed. They need to be understood. If you think about it, what happens is if you're misunderstood, you're on a forever mission for that, where other people are looking at it from a different perspective, just trying to correct the behavior.
Yes.
So
see it one way.
And Antonio has been on something, and it seems misaligned, but he's like, I want to be understood and taken for who I am.
Right.
So a lot of times when you deal with someone like this, you get caught up in content.
Yes.
I'm saying the right things, be around. He's caught up in context, which is completely different than that. If anyone's ever gotten in an argument with somebody and you're like, what is wrong with you? It's because they are like, all you have to do is understand where I'm coming from. That will be the fix. So for Antonio,
the answer to this is,
I'm not certain that taking him away is going to make him feel felt understood. I think that will be the collective thought of fixing him, but not understanding him.
Football won't fix you. You know, I think football is just something that God has given us that allows us to be fruitful in our lives. And we work so hard to get to a certain point that, you know, we get to enjoy it, and it's what we work hard for. But your character is what's going to define you.
Say it.
You know, I think Antonio just has to figure out, like, where does my character lie? What can I do? How can I be a better person, better man? Got a lot of kids watching. A lot of people watching, man. Social media opens it up for everybody to pay attention. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing for him right now, but we gotta figure out the medium for this man.
Yeah, but when you start and you galvanize this much success from nothing, I even have this spirit in me that I had to talk myself out of, which is, oh, I could go back to nothing and it's all good, because that's where I came from. And the problem with where Antonio is now, he's in rarefied air, and he's not feeling worthy and as qualified for where he is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's therapeutic. Yes, you need therapy. But last time I checked, his greatest therapy has been his occupation, has been his opportunities.
And that's maybe why he needs a change, because that's not providing the therapy. All of that applause, again, I say athletes are pretty much the only people, actors on Broadway or whatever, they get applauded on their job. They get all that adulation and worship. Yeah. And AB's addicted to social media, which to me, I was telling my brother earlier today that social media is like a church for people who self-worship. These celebrities that self-worship and are all into themselves. And people got upset with me yesterday because I was bothered when OBJ introduced himself last night. I'm OBJ, I am him. I was like, whoa, bro. Whoa. And for me, that hits my funny bone. And I hear OBJ talk about God, and I'm like, oh, you him, huh? But again, I get this mentality of self-worship that we're all into, all of us into it to some degree. And then you get addicted to social media, and that becomes your church of worshipers and followers. Yeah. And it deludes you, and it makes you start thinking you're better than other people. And so I hear you say about context. I want AB to understand the context of, hey, bro, just because you made a bunch of money doesn't mean you're special. God has blessed you, and you've overcome some incredible things. Smother yourself in humility right now, if possible. Don't let this money and the 2 or 3 million followers you have on Twitter and all fool you into believing that you are him. You're not.
Yeah. That's the only reason I was saying take a step back from the game a little bit and just see what transpired in your life, what has happened, who's the reasoning for all of this? Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's us. Like, yeah, I mean, man, we walk the walk every day, man. We walk, like, we put ourselves in some predicaments where at some point we have to defend ourselves, and at some point we have to, you know, pay up for what's happened. You know, so you can't never look at it like, look, man, it's somebody else's fault. You know, at the end of the day, it's your fault for whatever you're going through.
I would just end with this. This is such a layered conversation. Identity and self-worth and how they're interwoven from people from humble beginnings, it is such an intricate issue. Yeah. Because you don't deeply feel you deserve what you got. Right. So when you get to that place where you have a lot, we see these implosions. We see these issues come up a lot of times, and he becomes self-defeated in everything he's doing. His greatest issue is the social media activation. His greatest issue is that he is narcissistic. He's believing, since I was born into humility and raised myself out of it, don't you dare tell me now that I need to be internally humble when that, whatever fire that was, is what got me here. How do you calibrate that?
All right, coming up, Kyle Allen just led the Panthers to their first win of the year. Is it time for Carolina to think about sending Cam Newton to the bench for good?